Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever this episode finds you. I hope you are in good spirits and I hope you are breathing, reading, learning, growing, and coming to a place of acceptance. Ironically, this episode is titled Don't Panic. And in this episode, I will speak on a situation that actually happened almost 1 week ago. So let's get started. Welcome to Don't Panic. I am your host, LaPortia Mitchell. This will be very short, sweet, and to the point, hopefully informative as well. Um, let's get started. So, as stated before, the title is just it's a play on words. Um, Don't Panic actually entails me describing and telling you about a panic attack that I had about a week ago. So here's what happened. Um, let's start with me ending up in my therapist's office that same day. Okay. The first question that she asked me is what caused this panic attack, because a panic attack standardly will not just it's not just suddenly. It's like you can feel kind of an onset of it depending on what's happening. You can be triggered unknowingly, and it can cause you, to suffer from a more of a feeling of anxiety and panic. Me myself, I do deal daily with anxiety. I have a generalized anxiety disorder. A lot of people do not know what that means, but in short, you know, sometimes I can have a hard time sleeping. I have a lot of racing thoughts. Sometimes it may affect my appetite where I may not eat or eat too much. So it affects everyone very differently. If you feel you may be suffering from anxiety, I just encourage you to seek um, a professional, tell them how you are feeling, and then go from there. At any point in time, any of us can feel more anxious or panic. So you are not alone. It's important when dealing with anxiety and panic that you pinpoint the target of what's causing you that anxiousness and that the feeling of panic, which can lead to a panic attack. With mine specifically, um, there was a situation that was completely out of my control. Because it was not in my control and I could not control it, it led to panic. My panic attack looked like me not being able to think clearly, crying, and just wanting to get out of the situation. And unfortunately, that situation was me at work in office. So I don't feel embarrassed to talk about it. And I just feel like people need to know this happens. It happens to anyone. It can happen to anyone, whether you have it all together, whether you are trying to get it all together, or whether you are a complete mess. It can happen to anyone. So you are not alone. I ended up risking my employment because I left work. I did not just I didn't quit or anything, but I instead of clocking in at an office as I should have, I went home out of panic, being in disarray, not thinking clearly, and then I decided to work from home on my own, not not as a not as I should have or what my supervisor would have preferred. Thankfully, I'm walking in alignment, and this position has really been such a blessing to me. My supervisor actually scheduled me an appointment with a therapist. I'm not sure if he did that to potentially save my job in case it came into question, which it never did. But I'm really glad that he um, scheduled this appointment for me because it's something that I knew I needed to do. Probably for the last couple of months, I've just felt as if I needed someone to talk to. A lot of times when you are doing something new or you are doing something different and you are out of your comfort zone, you may not have anyone in your close circle that you can speak to. Sometimes we just feel you can feel as if you're bragging, you know, to them when you're really just trying to speak on your accomplishments or what you were planning. So sometimes we stay quiet as opposed to speaking to someone or to anyone. And it's not good. I also, which a lot of people know, went through a breakup where I ended my engagement by choice. I do still love my ex fiance. He did not cheat on me. It was a situation to where I felt like my best interest was to end it before we got too far into things. And on some subjects, we just were not on the same page. So I was able to speak to the therapist about that. I was able to speak to her about some of the relationships or the lack of relationships in my life, and I was just able to get out how proud I was of myself as well, speak on my accomplishments without getting any backlash or without hearing about religion or without just getting negative feedback. So by the end of that therapy session, I left feeling affirmed. I left feeling realigned with my purpose, and I knew that I was walking in my purpose no matter how lonely it can be at times. I tell people I know I don't seem like I'm in a season where I'm alone, but a lot of times I am. And I also like to say there is a difference between being alone and lonely. So it is very important to cultivate a team and a crew or a group around you who can hear you when you aren't saying anything, who can pray for you, who can reach out to you to encourage you sincerely and support you without um, any motives. You know, it's just pure intentions. So it's very important to get those people around you. I will say that I'm feeling much better, but again, your emotions matter. They are valid. You know, if you feel something, it's best to just feel it. You can sit with it, you can cry it out, you can scream, and then you are able to feel that emotion so you are able to release it as opposed to holding it in, bottling it up, and then it releasing at the least expected time in the least expected situation. So I know a lot of us right now, we are students, we are parents, we are entrepreneurs. We are just trying to figure out what's next in life and get to that next level of growth. In that, make sure you give yourself some grace. Make sure you give yourself some grace. A lot of times we're able to give others grace and love and support and advice. And just like myself, sometimes we don't take our own advice, or it can be harder for us to apply what we know to ourselves. So that's what happened. It was wild. I can laugh about it now, but I was in a complete panic. So at the time, it was not funny at all. Just in retrospect, it's like, girl, oh my God, I can't let you get it. I can't believe you let it go that far. And so I vowed to myself to do a few things, which I'm going to share with you now, to hopefully prevent an anxiety or a panic attack in the future. Like I said, I if you're feeling this way and you feel like you may be suffering from anxiety or panic disorder, just seek help. There's so many different resources. Reach out to me. We can figure out some things together. But you definitely want to validate your feelings. So, what I learned from my panic attack, what I've learned is to trust your feelings. Trust your feelings. Um, a lot of times, things you are feeling, even though you may not understand them, it's important to trust them. Call out your feelings, write them down. Don't just say you are angry if you are really sad or you are hurt. Because if you are angry, you won't resolve that feeling of feeling hurt or sad. You know what I mean? So trust your feelings, recognize them, write them out, feel them. Find a positive, reaffirming outlet. So when I went to see my therapist, not only was she positive, she reaffirmed me. She validated me out loud. She poured back into me. She helped me with gaining clarity and just knowing that I'm still human. I am not a robot. And I need things too in order to continue to function, like love and support and validation. Validate yourself, reaffirm yourself, but anyone you are allowing in your circle, make sure they are validating you and supporting you as well because you deserve it. The most important thing, and you're going to see it here twice, it's not a mistake. I want you to get rest. I really want us to start getting rest, feeling comfortable with getting rest, feeling comfortable with maybe just taking a day out and not working or not doing any tasks, besides just cleaning or and bathing and cooking, just different things to maybe relax you. It's okay to rest. You do not need to validate your need or want to rest to anyone. I will say if you are sleeping too much and you are worn out, you're tired, that may be something different that you want to look into because depression can really tire you out. You're sleeping a lot, you're not getting sunlight, and different things like that. But outside of it being associated with like an illness or depression or anything like that, it's important to rest. A lot of us are dealing with feelings, illnesses, sicknesses that we cannot or that we do not speak to others about or that we just carry so well. So I'm super proud of you for actually carrying it well. But just because you carry it well does not mean it does not get heavy. And it does not mean that you do not deserve to rest. And it does not mean that you do not deserve to have your feelings heard. Thank you guys so much as always. Like the page, share my name, LaPortia Mitchell, subscribe. My YouTube is listed here. LaPortia Mitchell of LaPortia Mitchell Presents. I am the president and CEO. Until next time, just keep pushing.